Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to Breezy Gaming TV. In this video I'm going to talk about my list of top 5 CT mistakes. So the top 5 counter-terrorist mistakes. I've already covered up top 5 T mistakes, so in this one I'm going to do a counter one. So my number 1 is holding bomb sites incorrectly. What I mean by that, it's people tend to play the same position all the time, and you can't do that because when you always play the same spot every round, the terrorists will know that there's a trend on you, that you're always playing the same spot every time. So you need to switch it up. So you need to switch it up by how? Well, let's say you're taking bomb site B on Mirage. One round play bench, the next round play cat, and so on and so forth. Switch around all the time. Of course, you can come back like every 3 or 4 rounds. You can come back to your initial spot. But my point being is, you can't always play the same spot all the time. So that's number 1. Playing position too often or not switching positions enough. Number 2, it's you need to find the thin line between being too aggressive or too passive. So there's 2 parts of number 2, and I'm covering both of them. Let's start with too aggressive. 1, you're too aggressive, you don't have backup. You're in a round where you should be playing passive, but you're going balls deep everywhere and you don't need to, causing your team to lose you early on and even lose the round. So what I would suggest is make sure that you're aggressive enough to know where they might be going, but fall back once you know where they are at. Because many times than not, you are exposing yourself to a lot of dangerous places that you sometimes don't have to be. And number 2 of this side of my number 2 is being too passive. If your teammates are already playing, let's say your teammates up cat and up connector already, and you're in CT watching like Marquette, you don't need to do that. I mean, you have teammates already up there, so you don't have to have people playing unnecessary spots. So that's what I mean by being too passive. Like playing an angle where you know it's impossible for people to be there at that specific time. So let's go to number 3. Not knowing how to trade frag. That's very common on a lot of everywhere. Just not being able to trade frag. Even as a CT, you have to trade frag. Let's say there's 5 terrorists charging you at the bomb site. Your teammate dies, but did a lot of damage to the enemy. So you have time. You have time to actually, kill that person that's actually lit. That's what I mean by being able to trade frag. It's not just for, terrorists to trade frag. Number 3 on my list, be able to trade frag efficiently. So of course some communication will, you have to factor some communication too, so you have to learn how to communicate with your team. But I mean, it's just the basics of knowing how to back up your teammate. Number 4, knowing how to isolate angles. So more often than not, I find a lot of people, they don't isolate angles, so they get picked off. Like, try to be exposed to only one angle at a time, because if you're exposed to multiple angles, it's very hard for you to stay alive. I'm not even talking about killing people, more about staying alive, because playing CT, it's not really about getting the kills. It's actually make sure the clock runs out before they plant. That's actually your goal as a CT. So isolate yourself into angles where you cannot be seen or cannot be hit as much as you can, and remember, isolate yourself in one angle only at a time. It's very hard because there are some maps that you won't be able to be isolated by one angle. Like let's say in Cobblestone, it's a T-sided map if played correctly. So I understand it's hard for you to isolate angles. Now let's go to my last one. My last one is the most important one. It's about nade work. A lot of people don't know how to use their nades correctly as a CT, and nade work can actually save you a round. If you know how to throw your smokes correctly to isolate the enemies out, throw your flashes so you can delay the terrorists from coming to you, you actually won the round because your teammates have time to actually come over. And of course, if you know how to like nade stack stuff, then you actually won a lot of rounds, because if you're able to nade stack some rounds where, let's say you guys are on a save round on CT and you guys are pushing middle, let's say everyone's pushing middle, and if everyone knows how to throw their nades at the same time correctly, well, you can actually get like 3 or 4 kills with those nades and just some USB shots because they're all lit. So nade work is very important. So of course, how to fix this? Again, go onto an empty server, practice your nade work. That's all you need. So that's really my top 5. So make sure you switch positions to be able to find a fine line between being too aggressive or too passive. And number 3, trade frag. 4, isolate angles. 5, make sure you have really strong nade work. Alright, of course, I was actually playing with my friends 04 on 5. I know it's not fair because I'm actually smurfing, but see, carry for fun guy was smurfing too, so evens out. But I hope these tips help you.